Hello there. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Bad Book Thief. Today I am back with yet another book review, and we are going to talk about The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I remember that I had promised to review one of the books I had spoken of in my previous video, and I am not doing one of those as promised, but I hope you guys are able to forgive me. I had totally forgotten about this book, which I was which is a part of a blog tour that I was doing in September. So the Inheritance Games got launched early this week, and I am going to review this book today. I would like to thank Dave from The Right Reads, who is also the organizer for the Ultimate Blog Tour, and I think I was lucky enough to receive advanced reader copy of the Inheritance Games. So Dave, if you're listening to this video, thank you so much for allowing me be a part of the blog tour, because I really did enjoy reading this book. This book is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is a young adult fantasy thriller, and I normally don't read young adult books, but because it was a thriller and the plot was kind of a really strong one, that urged me to pick this book up, and also I think the cover. So that's the cover. Although the Kindle edition that I received had a different cover altogether, which was not really that intriguing. As far as the plot is concerned, this is the story of Avery Grams, who is a teen, and she is living a really rough life. She's lost her mother and she's living with her sister Libby. And when Libby's abusive ex-boyfriend moves in with Libby, it's difficult for Avery to continue living under the same roof, and she is now living out of her car. So the single most goal of her life is to get a scholarship and finally move out and have a normal life. But as fate has it, there are different plans that life has for her. So this begins the day she receives this anonymous call that she has to come down to Texas, because she is made a part of the will of this billionaire philanthropist person by the name Tobias Hawthorne. So she flies down with her sister Libby to understand what this will is, and when she reaches there, she realizes that there are blood relatives of the deceased Mr. Tobias Hawthorne, and that includes two of his daughters and four grandsons. So as soon as the will is read, she realizes that she is not just a part of it, but she has inherited the whole of the estate and belongings, holdings, everything that Tobias Hawthorne ever owned. Everything is now Avery's. So how does she claim it though? Here's the catch. She has to stay with the Hawthorns under the Hawthorne roof for a year, and that's how she's going to be able to claim this fortune. Now, that's as far as the plot goes. To speak of the various aspects of this book, I think the one thing that is absolutely amazing is the plot itself. It's quite interesting. I mean, as a person, I would be really interested in knowing, why did a stranger leave me everything he held dear in life, and if there was a connection at all that I'm not aware of. So that is most intriguing, because Avery has lost her mother, so she starts to wonder whether in some way her mother was related to the late Mr. Hawthorne, and if she has some connection in any way. Not to mention that obviously the Hawthorns also feel that there is some bit of a riddle, a mystery there as well, and all of them want to eagerly solve what this mystery is, and they don't feel that good about having disinherited all that they ever wanted, and now everything going on to the hands of a stranger that they've never even heard of until this day definitely gets them all going, chasing after the fortune. Now, that's as far as the plot goes. So, yes, it's quite intriguing, and I think through the book, I really wanted to reach the end and figure if there is some clue, some hint left by the author as to why does Avery inherit everything from Mr. Hawthorne. But it was only toward the end I realized that there was a sequel, and maybe that's why none of that mystery was unfolded. In this first book of the Inheritance Games series. Now, speaking of the characters, there are quite a lot of them. We definitely have Avery Grams. She is slightly cute. I think for her age, she is a bit mature. She is determined, and she wants to get down to business. I mean, she's the kind of girl who really wants to find out what's happening, and how life is going to be post all of this drama, post all of this revelation of the mystery and stuff like that. The other most important character, and who I thought was the most intriguing and somebody who kept me moving along with the book, was the late Mr. Hawthorne. Now, that's ironical, you would say, because he's not even there, he's not a part of the book, so to say. But his mansion that he's just given over to every room of that place, every passage, every corner is kind of his haunt. So he's present everywhere, and in some or the other way, he's always manipulating Avery into doing things, into trying to reveal those mysteries. As for the other characters, we have the four grandsons, and that's Grayson, Jameson, Alexander, and Nash. All of the four I felt, have barely been touched upon the surface. If I have to talk about the characters, that is, their demeanors, their personalities. But that's quite fair because it's just book one of the series. I don't know how many more are yet to come, but I cannot expect them to be a clear picture right in the first book itself. Having said that, I think the way has started developing them is quite interesting. All of them are different. In perspective, in their observation in life, and their goals and motives. So I think the fourth grandson, who is Jameson, is the one who's drawn to Avery, and he wants to unearth this mystery just as much as Avery wants to, and he starts to help her out. Grayson, on the other hand, feels that she is a con man, somebody who is here just by some sort of trickery and deceit probably, and he wants to find out the mystery for himself. And that's quite obvious because he's also the heir apparent of the Hawthorne family. Now, speaking of Alexander and Nash, they are hardly built characters over here. But I thought Jameson and Grayson were slightly better built compared to the others. The daughters of Mr. Hawthorne aren't really built so much as well. Maybe they have important roles to play in the latter half of the series, but in this one, not so much. Libby, again, I thought is a great character. Maybe the author can shed some more light on her life. Not that that's crucial to the actual story, but I think I would like to know a little bit more about her because she is the only person Avery is really related to. I really hope that these characters are developed well, and some of their secrets, the mysteries, and the family drama around these secrets, that all of them are keeping so tightly clutched to their hearts. Some of them starts to really reveal in the next part of the book. I think that would really be really interesting to know. The setting. Now, coming to the setting, this is one of the parts that I really love about some of the books where the setting plays a crucial role again. That's one of the reasons why I love Rebecca so much, because Manderley is one hell of a place, and to write about your whole story, the whole plot, and in fact to do series of books on one setting is, I think, a brilliant job in itself. And I read in one of the interviews that the author has a certain attraction for secret passageways and tunnels in houses, and that was kind of the motivation, the inspiration behind this whole Hawthorne mansion, which is palatial, and it's grand. It's got numerous libraries. It's got secret passages, tunnels. It's got a whole a whole lot of rooms, and that whole thing kind of adds to the mysterious aura of the book. I believe. So the setting is quite interesting again. Um, one thing that we get to learn about Mr. Hawthorne, the late Mr. Hawthorne, is that he is a man who loves puzzles, riddles, and the way he's charted out the whole task, unearthing the mystery, is strewn with all of his riddles and puzzles, and this is something his grandsons know how much their grandfather loved mysteries and riddles, and that's one of the reasons why Jameson, the youngest, absolutely enjoys. Understanding and decoding these mysteries and helping Avery out. So all in all, I guess if I have to put the plot, the characters, the story and the setting and all of it together, I think it makes for a stunning read, almost captivating. If you have to skip some of the bits which I felt could be avoided, and by that I mean in some places the narrative kind of tends to run over a bit more than required, and you have to kind of pull yourself through that. But it lasts for a short span, and I think the initial few pages are a little difficult. But if you try to hold yourself there, hang in there, you'll end up even liking the book. So that's that. Ultimately, I think what I want to talk about is the writing. The writing is stunning. She knows what she's talking about. She knows how to have her reader hooked to the story. So I think the way she's built up the riddles, the tasks, and the way she's described everything is a great job again, and something that her readers absolutely love. I think that's one of the reasons why her books are that popular. For me, this is her first book that I'm reading. I don't have much of an experience, but after having read this book, I'm sure that I'll probably be looking out for the next book in the series, and maybe a few of her other books as well. So so that's about it. I would want you to give this book a try. It definitely looks like a promising read. Find it for yourself if fantasy and young adult is a genre you want to explore. I know I never wanted to, because it kind of it's not my taste at all. But thrillers, yes, I am a sucker for thrillers, and this is kind of good. When it comes to the whole thrilling aspect of the plot. So give it a try, and whether you like it, whether there are things you want to discuss, I am always here. You can drop me an email on badbookthief@gmail.com, or you can also just write to me in the comment section below, and I'll be more than happy to reply to you. So guys, I'm going to end the review of The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. And once again, I want to tell you that do not forget to subscribe to my channel. It's a request, and I would love if you do that. It should be quite all of it. Until the next video, you take care. Goodbye.